Okay, so this is Jay Rogers. I'm here in downtown Orlando. It's 2 o'clock in the morning and I can't sleep because I'm in a hospital. And the reason why I'm in a hospital is that not even 7 days ago I had heart transplant surgery, if you can believe that. I'm making the video because even though I hate these things, I've had a lot of questions from people that I can't really answer through email or something like that. So I want people to know, first of all, I'm doing phenomenally. I was up walking the floor today, did about just under 3,000 steps today, 2 walks. I had heart surgery about 8 years ago. I've had some heart issues my whole life, and in the last 5 years, it's gotten a little bit more serious, where when it's more serious heart failure, started doing really well, got worse. And by this June, I went in to see my doctor, and he basically said, well, we're going to refer you to a transplant center. And so I said, well, I'll go. And they did a week of tests. I was in the hospital for the whole week. They were going to send us home. But then they came back with a test, and they said, well, you're full of surprises. Because we thought that one test you did really well, but this other test is saying that the organs in your body are not being accommodated by your heart. You're going to start running into some problems. And I had been told that already, so I agreed with that. And so my wife and I prayed about it on the spot. We decided that we would sign papers the next day. And I ended up getting a donor heart in 2 days after that. So it was like a 4-day turnaround. Signed the papers on Thursday, had heart transplant surgery Monday morning. Now, this is almost unheard of. It's not unheard of, but almost unheard of. This is one of the top transplant centers in the country, top in the Southeast. It's called Advent Health. It's run by a ministry. There are a lot of very solid Christian young people that work here from all over the world. India, China, I've met people from the Philippines, South America. They're amazing people. And you can really see God at work here. And this is really nothing short of God's work. It's not, it's not like a friend of mine says, I'm not an accident waiting to happen. God has a plan in this. So the reason why I wanted to make this video is I want people to understand that I'm not delirious. Like, I know that there's a roller coaster that's coming up. And I also want people to know that these are not Mickey Mouse ears, by the way, even though I'm in Orlando. This is just a pillow hat because my hair looks terrible right now. So, but everyone thinks I have a really good attitude, I have good motivation, I'm recovering very quickly. The transplant itself in 2020 is not the issue. Most of them will be successful. They can get a good match. It's the rejection, and the rejection rates are getting better and better. So we're very hopeful. So we're going to keep an eye on this for like the next 6 months. They're going to watch us every week, like I say us because my wife is going to be very affected by this too. So they're going to be watching me like a hawk. I'm going to be in here for appointments every week, doing biopsies, and they're getting very good at the science of what happens when there's a rejection. So we're going to do our first test tomorrow, and I want people to be praying for that. Okay. I'll just tell a couple of things that were very remarkable about this. I never thought this would happen, and so we're in the middle of COVID, so my wife has to go home at night to sleep. So the night before the operation, I was afraid. And one of the nurses that was with me is from India, a Christian girl. I knew she was a Christian. We talked a little bit about some things. And she said, don't be afraid. You're a Christian. You believe in Jesus. And then we prayed. I was still afraid. But to have that kind of ministry, it's a hospital, but it's the work of God being done here. I have some amazing stories. There are about 200 things that happened to me this week that I thought would never happen. And I'm going to be able to tell the story to get me through the next 6 months to a year so I can actually tell the story. And I can't get into it, but you're going to be amazed by this. I literally believe that this could be the beginning of the third great awakening, not just for me, but for our country. And I'm going to be coming back and sharing that hopefully. So you need to stand with me in prayer so that people can be blessed by the story I'm going to tell. That might sound a little bit, that might sound a little bit conceited, but God has done this. I've never seen anything like this before. So I'm kind of losing my train of thought. I think I'm going to be able to get some sleep tonight. So the main reason I made this, obviously, is I want people to see I'm doing very well. Some of my friends were shocked. They were saying things like, "What are you talking about? Heart transplant." One of my friends, Lonnie, I told him about it. He said, you sound like you think you're going to go back to work next week after having a heart transplant. And I was like, well, I am going to go back to normal fairly soon. And I might be able to get to work from home. We don't know what's going to happen. But I know that my life's not going to be normal anymore. But my wife and I are believing that I'm going to get better. I have the heart of a young person now, that I have an opportunity to do a lot of things I wasn't going to be able to do. Okay? So, if you need a miracle, God's there, because he did it with me. I get to meet some really great people that I didn't know had heart problems, that were friends of mine, and they I had heart replacement surgery when I was a baby, and I'm still here. And this is back, when it was more dangerous. Or another guy who's dealing with the possibility right now. So this is going to turn into a great opportunity. And there's nothing that can happen to you in this life that God doesn't have an answer for. So I'm doing very well. The staff here thinks that I'm progressing very quickly, that my attitude's good. None of that's true. I have a terrible attitude, but I put up a good front. And I'm just trying to keep it together. So if you want to pray with us, then God bless you.